victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. Today, and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. And are not afraid to say it. And are not.
Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. What's up, everybody?
Yo, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right.
Yep, I could definitely hear you. Peace and blessings, everybody. Welcome to the People Before Politics radio show. Let me see if this thing worked, man.
Episode 391. 9 shows away from our 400th show.
Yeah, did you hear that?
I heard that. It started to hear it.
Let me see.
391.
You heard that?
Yeah, a little piece of it, not the whole thing.
I gotta figure that out. I gotta figure what's going on that it's making it do what it do. No. Yeah, I gotta figure that one out. Interesting. So it's good, AJ. What's happening?
I'm good. I'm coming through clear. I look clear and everything.
Yeah, you look good.
I decided to use my iPhone instead of the computer today to see what
really
happens. Yeah. I'm on the screen a little smaller, but you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to see if I sound clear and hear.
Looks good.
Yeah, just in case I had to do this, I just testing this out.
No. It definitely looks good, man.
That's what's up.
It definitely look good.
Yeah.
So, we had I'm trying to bring it up for all y'all that are watching. Thank you for watching, and also we're gonna put in the description. I'm gonna start doing some things, and it's for men, and we're gonna have women too, but it's the smell of the day. We're gonna do the smell of the day, and the smell of the day, it is called Hawass Ice. Now that's the smell of the day, and as y'all can see, I put a dent in mine. I took this to my trip to Jamaica because this is a warm, hot weather cologne, gentlemen. They are different. They are colognes that only wintertime, and they're colognes that are for the summertime. So this Hawass Ice is strictly beast mode. It's going to last you 6, 7, maybe 10 hours, depending on your skin. And the first 2 hours is just going to linger. You're going to walk by people and they're going to say, "Oh, who has that on?" Right? So the scent trail is excellent on this. And I just wanted to actually read the top notes of frozen apple, Italian bergamot, Italian lemon, and star arise, whatever that is. The mid notes is orange blossom, plum, and cardamom. Base notes is moss, driftwood, amber, musk. This is a great, great summertime smell, and you'll smell like $1,000,000, and you're only gonna run you like $60.
So for those that don't know, how do you know what smells are for the summer and what smells are for the winter?
Well, most of the blue smells, the blue fragrances are usually for the summer. But I suggest anybody just buy. Some people just buy what's trending, and they really don't put a research. I suggest anybody that's really into smells that as y'all can see behind me, I'm really into smells. Really do your research, go on YouTube and find out, a lot of the wood scents that have wood or really heavy with oud, those are wintertime smells. But the blues, a lot of the blues, some blues can be rocked in the winter and summer. Some blues can do it, but a lot of the blue scents are summertime.
Now, see, I asked that question not
Mhm.
just for the audience, for me.
Yeah.
You gave me one that has like a woody smell or whatever, and I rocked that this morning. So.
Nah, that's for the winter. Like you could get, dude, like to be honest, you could wear whatever you want to wear, right?
Right.
But some of the winter are so deep and intense. In the summer, it's just you're just gonna drown them out. And you don't want that. Like you want summertime, with the wind blowing, you want a nice light, lemony, rosy. And men and men wear rose scents. I got a couple of dope rose scents. They're unisex, but they're more on the masculine side. The other night I wore one because I knew I was in a closed area, and I wanted to have that boom when I walked people. So it just depends on, your style, whether you like, heavy scents or you like light scents. But for the spring, summer, and the hot weather, try to get a nice blue, something, fruity and with florals, and not a lot of oud, not a lot of wood, because wood is, the wood senses are more for the winter time.
Oh, now I know.
Yeah, and
like that commercial, like that commercial. Now I know, and no one has to battle. G.I. Joe.
Exactly. I'm gonna paste the link. I'm gonna paste the link in the comment. It's on Facebook, and okay, it came up on YouTube too for those who are watching, and we're gonna put it in the description later tonight. I'll just put the description, but definitely if you're trying to get something for the man in your life, or even, I don't know, whoever you like, or uncle or something like that. This is a nice scent. This is a nice scent for the summer. And every Saturday morning you could check me out. I'm doing Balling with the Budget. Because we talk about cologne scents that are not going to break your pocket. A lot of these niche colognes are costing $350, $400, $500. And if you're smart, you could get the same DNA, for $50, $60 that will have the same long-lasting effect. And it's not about the name, it's about how you smell. Nobody's gonna worry about the name. They're gonna worry about how you smell. So, it takes time. And I like to talk about things like that. So, check me out Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock, Balling with a Budget. But today's set for People Before Politics is Hawass Ice. And I put the link in. You could get it on Amazon. Comes real quick. And, the warm weather is here. Like I said, I wore it out to Jamaica, and people were asking me what I had on. And, this it's a good smell. Now there's two of them. There's Hawass and there's Hawass Ice. Hawass Ice is a little lighter than Hawass. Yeah, it is.
No, I'm getting comments. When you got family members, so my cousin Panama Michelle Harris is watching in Vegas, and she keeps like, slide to the left. I don't see your banner. Slide to the right. You got too much of your banner. Get the banner out. So I'm trying to readjust. Yeah. So anyway.
Hawass, shout out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for directing AJ to get him right in the middle of the screen. So that's it, man. But definitely I put the link in it. It's a great gift. It doesn't cost a lot. And check me out on Saturdays, Balling with the Budget, and where we talk about great smelling scents that ain't gonna break your pocket. You can smell like a millionaire and don't have to spend $1 million.
That's what's up. Shout out to Tony Old School Mitchell. I saw his name in the. He's checked in somewhere.
Peace and blessings, Tony, my man. What's happening? So I wanted to put up a couple of articles that we did.
There we go. Like we always do it this time. I come for mine. While you're doing that, shout out to my man Alfred Allen Porter. He does this open mic every third Friday. So he asks your man, and this is my homeboy from like high school. You know what I'm saying? He asked me to come through, kind of like to help with the promotion a little bit of his open mic. And he was like, bring your books and get up and say a couple of words. So, I do all these author talks. Like today I spoke about the women's book for Women's Month at a church this morning. That's cool, but this is an open mic though. So it's like, you just can't get up and just talk about your book at an open mic. So on the way there, shout out to my man, Dr. Bob. Dr. Bob was driving. So on the way there, I just pulled out the pen and the pad and I jotted down a few notes about my book in the spoken word form and did it. You can see clips of it on my IG, on my TikTok. I think I got to put it up on Facebook too. But it was kind of cool. The crowd was small, but it's growing. Shout out to Infinite and his wife that came from Yonkers and a few other people that came through. But it was cool though. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't really did that in a long time. So I jotted it down. I tested it out on Dr. Bob in the car. He was like, yeah, that's it. And I just dropped it. So and it was a good little promotional video for the book too. You know what I'm saying? To promote the book.
Absolutely.
Put on the thing. So that was the first time I just, I wasn't going to get up there and rhyme, but I was like, it was spoken word. Everybody was throwing poems and spoken word pieces. And one dude, peace to the brother, I don't know his name. We called him the human jukebox because he got up and played on the acoustic guitar. He did everything from Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick to the Ozzy Brothers Sexual Healing to Curtis Mayfield. Whatever he played, this dude killed it. Sound just like it. And he was amazing. So it's a good joint. You just look for the promotion. The flyers on Facebook is every third Friday. Shout out to my man Jolo's Kitchen in New Rochelle. You know what I'm saying? It was at his spot. And he's in the book too because he was in the group I with Pete Rock. So you know what I'm saying? So anyway, I just wanted to shout that out. I did that Friday. And shout out to the women who invited me to the church out in Croton. They had me out in Croton this morning. Damon Croton. I was like, yo, I don't be in Croton. yo, I see it on the map, and I ain't never been in Croton on the Hudson. Yo, word up. So they had me there, speaking to the women, speaking to the audience about Black women for Women's History, and they brought some books, and I appreciate them. So I just want to shout those people out, and shout out to Lane who set that up with the church in Croton.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we also attended the rally.
Oh yes.
Uh,
One
uh,
of one of the ladies that was at the rally was at the church. Leah from Westchester Coalition of Police Reform.
okay.
She was there. She was like, she spoke because she sat next to me. She's like, "How did I do at the rally? How did I sound?" So I said,
You
"Yo,
sound real good.
you did your thing." You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Leah, the Westchester Coalition of Police Reform, and everybody who came. It was various groups, and they stood up for Palestine. You know, for a ceasefire in Palestine and to speak up against the injustice. And it was in front of the county building just before County Executive Latimer did his state of the county address. So like everybody, whether they came that way or not, because you was allowed to go, you walk in the building on the side, and this is in the front. But they all heard the protests as they drove by and as they were looking for parking and as they was making their way around to the side. You know, and News 12 covered it, Low HUD covered it. It was a good
I think
turnout.
the Intercept covered it.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Someone asked me for my name. I think he's from the Intercept.
Oh, okay.
I think it was the Intercept.
I wish I knew, because then I would have introduced myself. That might have been the interview. I don't know. That was the reporter who interviewed me.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think it was a good turnout.
They did what. I just want to say this before we even talk about that. The Muslims, the Palestinians, and some were Jewish. There was an issue on the table. They wanted to make some noise and bring some attention to it. And they did what we be trying to get our brothers and sisters to do.
That's where I was. That's exactly where I was going.
And I say that to say, and I said this before, a couple of years ago, 1 million Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico hit the street to say their leader had to go. Like 1 million Puerto Ricans hit the streets. We can't get 5 people to meet me at any city hall tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like so like you democracy is a participatory sport. You know, you can't sit there and complain about what you don't like, or throw rocks from the internet. You know what I'm saying, on social media, if you're not willing to get out and make some noise. And it was peaceful. There was some adversaries, some haters that came through and tried to rile it up, but for the most part, they kept it peaceful and they did their thing, and they showed their pride, and they showed some of the Palestinians. They were I don't know if they're Palestinian Muslims, so I don't want to mischaracterize them, but they did this dance that is cultural to where they come from. You know what I'm saying, at the end, and I didn't know nothing about that. It was a beautiful thing to see that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was a ceremonial dance and all that. Yo, we got to get up. We got to stop complaining, and we need to take it to the street. I appreciate people like Jesse Van Lew and Save Mount Vernon, who will have a press conference in a rally, you know what I'm saying, in front of Leicester Towers when a young man gets shot in broad daylight, 10 o'clock in the morning, you know what I'm saying, to bring the issue up against a public safety, or on the steps of City Hall, or on the steps of the police department, or wherever it need to be. Even he's been out at the county, you know what I'm saying, and county building. So this is more, I like to see more of us do that instead of just complaining about our issues and wonder why ain't nobody paying us no damn mind. You know what I'm saying? We got to watch, I mean, they had at least, I didn't do a count, but as an estimate, they had no less than 50 people there. And at one point, probably more, because some people came and left. You know what I'm saying?
It probably would have been more if it wasn't Ramadan.
Right. And then Ramadan. You know what I'm saying? Like, they still were out there. You know what I mean? Like, they were out there,
The question, the question is, where are the Black people in this? Like, we have, and there's a piece I wrote on Black Westchester. We have been the civil rights movement and the Black Power movement have been locked in step with the Palestinian struggle since Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Stokely Carmichael, the Black Panther Party, Reverend Jesse Jackson Jr., Jesse Jackson. You know, all these people recognize the struggle, you know, of the Palestinian people. And, you know, we see nothing, you know, from the majority of today's Black leaders, you know, as is reference to Palestine, you know, and that's crazy, right? We don't even see even none of the pastors talking about it when, you know, that's the birthplace of Jesus, you know. So how can you be silent when all that's going on in the birthplace of the man that you say is the Son of God, you know? And I think I really think is sad, you know, that many of us are scared to be called anti-Semitic or anti-Israel or anti-Jewish, you know.
Yo, what's your hat say? My brother look like a nifty looking hat there. I can't see what
It says Jesus is a Black Palestinian. And they're all saying now, and I'll put the link in the thing. But we have to, you know, we have to understand that. You know, just like at the rally, AJ, the man called
us anti-Semitic,
right?
And we was like,
no, but you're anti-Black.
He said you're anti-Black, and then the Jewish gentleman said, "Why are you calling me anti-Black? I'm not anti-Black. Why you call me anti-Black? Because I disagree with you? Because I don't agree with you?" I said, "Isn't that the reason?" We both said, "Isn't that the reason you call us anti-Semitic? Because we don't agree with you."
Because we don't agree.
You know what I'm saying? But when we called him anti-Black, he was just like humming, like Ralph Crandom. Like he couldn't, you know what I'm saying? He couldn't get no words out. He didn't know what to say because he probably had never been called that before, and probably was caught off guard and was like, "What? Why you call me anti-Black?" Like,
listen, I tell anybody,
and he was offended, and I'm glad that the offense that he felt is how I feel when people call me or call others anti-Semitic for not agreeing with you. And let me just be clear, you know, the whole thing about Jesus being a Palestinian Jew, yo, if you as a Christian, as a human, let's not even be, just as a human being, but especially as a Christian, a follower of Jesus, if you can't express concern over the loss of innocent life on both sides, and you get mad that I'm saying more than what Hamas did on October 7th, which we've condemned, was horrific, and we're now saying what Israel is doing is horrific, to say that they call me a Hamas supporter or they call me anti-Semitic because I don't agree with the actions that you're doing. How could anybody who calls himself a Christian, a follower of Jesus Christ, who was a Palestinian Jew, and you know, when I say stuff like that, I know the AME Zion Church put this out there, but I went and did a deep dive. I even talked to my pastor to make sure it was biblically correct, because Jesus Christ, they say Jesus Christ of Nazareth of Galilee. Nazareth is in Israel, is a Palestinian city in Israel, but Jesus was born in Bethlehem, which is in Palestine, which is, you know what I'm saying? So he was a Palestinian Jew. So to not have empathy for the people being killed on both sides, that innocent lives, makes you a hypocrite to what you stand for, what you say you stand for. Let me just be clear. You know what I'm saying? Jesus came for all people. Them stories that are told in the Bible of when he walked, he never, even when the disciples said no, to the Jews, he wasn't just keeping the word to the Jews. He had Paul go out and give it to the Gentiles. Like, it's not just yours. You know what I'm saying? Like well, you don't just own this thing. You know what I'm saying? You don't just own this.
But the
and
fact,
your life is not more important than anybody else's life. That is the point. That is the major point. Your life is not, and your opinion is not more important than my opinion. Your right to believe what you want to believe and stand for what you stand for is not more important than my right or anybody else's right to stand for what they want to stand for. So if I don't blindly follow what you're saying, that does not make me or anyone else anti-Semitic. That's
right.
I'm gonna let Damon take over from there.
No, what you said, you said everything that needed to be said. But the question is, where are the black pastors, especially in Westchester County, where you see everything that's going down as far as this APAC stuff and George Lattimore, and they have to take they're going to have to take a stand sooner or later, because if not, the political process for black people is going to be taken away, and we already see, nobody, I don't understand. Like, you got 2,300 Republicans is going to transfer over.
That did transfer over, yeah.
Right, that transferred over. The Democratic chair says nothing. All to take out Jamal Bowman. And as I told Wagstaff, do you honestly think those 2,300 is going to vote for your black ass? When Case
right.
family is historically Republican. So you're supporting someone that's being supported by people that ain't even going to vote for you. If you're supporting that person. But usually a lot of the leadership, especially in Mount Vernon, is getting behind George for whatever reason they want to get behind George. But that's being a detriment to William Wagstaff's campaign for to be the first black district attorney of Westchester County.
To have a civil right attorney as the Westchester district attorney, that's even more important than what the color of his skin. But before we get into the election, and while we're still talking about Gaza, don't take my word for it. It's not even, it's going past regular news outlets when the Rolling Stone magazine runs a piece about Israel lobby pushing the lie that people are not starving in Gaza. As Gaza nears famine, pro-Israel lobby AIPAC instructs supporters. Now, let me just say this. I want y'all to listen. As Gaza nears famine, the pro-Israel lobby AIPAC instructs supporters to tell lawmakers that reports that people are starving in Gaza are false. This week, Washington's top Israel lobby is rallying the supporters to go to Capitol Hill to falsely claim to lawmakers as Congress that the reports of people starving in Gaza and Israel blocking aid is false. So not only is this group who George Latimer said, Bowman is getting all his money from outside of the district, this is a Washington-based pro-Israel lobbying group. So that is outside of our district. So they are, and these are the people that support George Latimer. Now, George, listen to me carefully, and whoever runs with George, please go run tell this. Pay attention to these next words and go run tell this. Yo, I got nothing against George. I personally don't have nothing against George, but I have a problem. We supported you with CE. We endorsed you against Astorino. We supported and endorsed you in your second election. We covered a lot of the things that you did that were good as county executive. But in this situation, two things can be true. All those things can be good, and what you're doing now is wrong. You have a group of people, Washington's top pro-Israel lobbyists, instructing, and I want you to read. We have the article. I'll put the link up or something. It's in Rolling Stone. They even have the document that they're telling their members and people that follow them to go to the lawmakers in Congress and tell them these things that are being said about them blocking humanitarian aid is false. About the people in Gaza coming to damn near famine and starving is false. And several other things. Yo, this is wicked. It's not only that this is being done by Israel to Gaza, but you're now instructing your people to go to their legislators and lie that these things are not happening. This ain't cool. And they represent you. So my question to you, George, because you like to take words around and say people are throwing campaigns against you to mess you up and call us operatives for Bowman. This has nothing to do with Bowman. It is the people that you have taken over $607,000 from in the last quarter, who encouraged you to run, who are doing these things and are trying to change the narrative of what is really being done and put pressure on all the other legislators that they gave money to so they can go ahead and continue to put out this lie and this false narrative that that Israel is doing nothing wrong and that all these reports are false. This didn't even come from a traditional news source. The reason why I thought this was powerful, this was the Rolling Stone, which is an entertainment-based publication that is read at most record companies and entertainment-based companies like movie companies where a lot of people work and they can see it. And it's speaking directly to them.
Well,
this is bullshit and it needs to be called out. This is what we do. This is speaking truth to power. This is not bull. That's not what they're doing. Is this they want to erase history. They're getting mad. They're getting pushback from everybody. So they're trying to go to the lawmakers and put out this lie that it's not happening the way they say it is. It's not happening. People are not dying over there.
Yeah, right.
We're not stopping humanitarian aid.
We got to bring.
They're not starving.
And we'll get back to this, AJ. We got to bring our. I know.
All right, well, that's enough of that for right now.
Guest, man.
But that needed to be out there. That needed to get out. Go ahead, Damon.
I'm going to bring him on right now. Welcome, brothers. Welcome, Jose Ray and Marvin. Welcome and thank you for coming on, man. And sorry we got a little passionate.
And hopefully we didn't scare y'all. Y'all probably in the back. Oh my God,
thank you for having me.
Step into.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, man. So, we brought the young kids on a couple of weeks back about the grease trap services, and they were very excited, and I know now y'all guys are about to jump it off, right? It's about to start, correct? Am I correct? And explain to the viewers who haven't watched the show what are y'all guys working on?
Well, I'll start off quickly. We were very fortunate to get Jose. He's been doing this. He'll go in more detail. He's been doing this business for 8 to 10 years plus. And we're very proud to have Jose and his company to work with us. So what happened, as you know, or if you don't know, we had Environmentalists of Color has a summer program. And we had a lot of our young people participate in our summer program. And we were very fortunate after all the judges that came through. YCOB, the organization, won the first prize, and their prize was about don't strain your drain. And so we took it to another level after that. We went to the Westchester County Board of Legislature. We had a meeting with the Westchester Housing Committee that was allowed us and our young people to speak, and they really enjoyed what the young ladies had to speak about. When somebody suggested that we participate, They suggest that we participate in the program of the Bedford 2030, and young ladies are now participating in the Bedford 30 program for an award, and we're doing a citywide campaign for cooking oil being utilized in our homes and our businesses, especially our restaurants. From there, we've worked with the city of Mount Vernon. Now they're participating and working with us, as well as the fire department. It's working with us. That's where the barrels are located. And we found our wonderful friend here, Jose. So Jose, you just go forward and tell them a little bit about yourself and why this is so important.
Yeah, thank you, Marvin. Hey guys, thank you for having me. Good afternoon. Let me just give you a little bit of my background. So I was born and raised in Hamilton Heights, which is sandwiched between Harlem and Washington Heights. Washington Heights and Harlem. I'm right stuck in the middle. So born and raised here. My family is Dominican, and so the passion that I have, it's in general, is the food industry. So I used to be a restaurant owner back in the early 2000s. I had a Dominican fusion cuisine. That was my dream, to open up a restaurant from my beloved moms that passed away. She used to be the personal chef of Bergdorf Goodman for many, many years. Mm-hmm. So, that was my dream. I went to culinary school and I lived my dreams for a while, and, unfortunately I had to close it down, but I was there. So that's been my passion for quite a while, the food industry. So, fast forward, I got involved in the, what I am now, I started a company called Green Network New York. And what we offer is free. So, let me step back. So what's important about this, so when I used to have the restaurant, that particular service of picking up the used cooking oil, the owner had to pay for it, and the grease trap as well. So, I mean, in a yearly would run you $2,000-3,000. Unfortunate now for the restaurant owners now, that has become like they call it black gold. So usually the reason for that is that the used cooking oil that we pick up, it's recycled it turns into biodiesel fuel, which is great because it's a green initiative. So basically, a lot of the first responders, bus, ambulance, even the planes are using biodiesel fuel because it's much cleaner than diesel fuel. So, I mean, that's what we service. We give them free service for restaurants. We pick up the used cooking oil, and we also service their grease trap clean. So, that has to be done by a licensed company. So I'm really, really excited about starting this program with Marvin. And hopefully we could extend it, and it could phase out to, other counties in Westchester County and above and more. Hopefully, different states would pick it up and so forth. Yeah.
Great. Marvin?
Well, I'll say, like I said, we were very fortunate to get Jose. He's experienced, and I told Jose, Dr. Diana said that to Jose that we have a serious problem here in Mount Vernon, as you guys know.
Right.
We have a lot of our sewer systems are backed up, and it could be because some of this cooking oil is going down the drains in people's homes. Right. Our homes are flooded. We've been very fortunate that even though we received the city received $140 million, it's going to take more than $140 million to fix all the sewers and the road systems and water systems that we really needed to be done here in Mount Vernon. So this is a small step that the young people came up with. And we can look at this as a opportunity for not just the restaurants, we look at the homeowners. I mean, I live in a condo complex. We just issued over 100 flyers in our condo complex to let them know that they can go to the firehouse, which is about 2 blocks away from where we're located, and dump off their used cooking oil there. It's something that our board here decided was a good initiative, good idea, and we would hope that other homeowners and restaurant businesses be included in this. We'll last our program until the 14th. The city is going to be meeting with Jose and myself, with Dr. Diana, to discuss this after our campaign. And the city looks like they might want to take this on as an initiative, which will really help within the city of Mount Vernon. And environmentally is a color, even though we started this as an initiative, we're in other cities. We are in cities such as Village of Portchester, we have programs. We are in New Rochelle, city of New Rochelle, we can introduce this as a program. We will continue working in Mount Vernon. We will also be talking to people in Yonkers. We'll also be talking to people in Peekskill where we have programs, Ossining, and we're looking to do another program possibly in Tarrytown and Mount Kisco. So I think having Jose and his company around, and especially he's a minority, finishing up his minority participation side licenses is very critical. It's not that many people, minorities in this business at all. And we're just very happy to have Jose and his company to be working with us. And we think this can really work.
So it's all right. So is it part, let me ask a question, because when we focus on communities like Mount Vernon, right, it is part of community just not knowing or just ignorant to what they're doing when they pour it down? Or is it just, just learn that, well, my mama did it, so I just pour it down and stuff like that, without understanding what they're actually doing to the infrastructure and to the community itself?
I think it's by habit. I think we're used to by habit what our parents did in the past. What we're doing is more convenient, and I think it's a habit. Some people are collecting some of the oils and they're freezing and then they're throwing in the garbage, which doesn't help the situation at all either. So when you put that frozen oil in the garbage, it goes into the groundwater. It can go into the groundwater. It can go into our soil, and we don't realize where that oil is going to be going to when it's burnt or it's going into the landfills. And we have to be very conscientious of this because it has a big impact on our environment. Has an impact on our waterways. Has a whole lot of impact. So I think it's done by design.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh no, I want to. Sorry to interrupt you. I wanted to ask you, when the girls came on, they were talking about what not to do, not pouring it down the drain, not throwing it in the garbage. They were talking about that we're getting to a point where we're gonna have places where you can go to dump your oil, like the fire departments and stuff. And I know that process was being set up. Are we any closer to that? Do we have locations yet, or
it's
will we be getting them soon?
It's set up. Jose has placed barrels in 470 Lincoln Avenue, the fire station on East Lincoln. At 470 Lincoln, there's barrels there and there's signage. And we also placed a barrel over at 50 West 3rd, which is on the 6th Avenue side on the south side. We have barrels over there. And so there are 55-gallon drums that Jose has provided for free for the community to do that.
That's great.
Even though we have set times here on Fridays and Saturdays, people can go there anytime to really put the oil in, as long as they close the lids. And there's instructions on the lid of what they need to do. So even though we say Friday and Saturdays, if they want to go over there, any day of the week to pour that oil in, it's not a problem because I'll check to see how much oil's in there and go from there. Jose, you were going to say something. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. And we also talking about the lids, the containers, the barrel. We also have bigger barrels and containers that hold 4 times as much as the containers that we put into fire station. So if hopefully the program takes off, we could accommodate much more oil. If more people join, it's not no issue because we're able to put additional lids, bigger containers. One other thing, I think if people, I grew up like that. I mean, I'm at 4. When I was growing up, I used to see my mother throw, the used cooking oil down the drain. So I understand that some people are naive to the fact because that's what they saw growing up. One thing that will help is that oil has become a valuable commodity because besides the like I mentioned, the biodiesel aspect of it when it's recycled, which helps the environment. So it's a clean initiative. It's also turned into soap, believe it or not. So a lot of people are unaware of that. So any little oil that's thrown away and so forth, that oil, if we could collect it, we could put it to good use. Let it be recycled into biodiesel or soap, which is awesome.
You said another thing, Jose, to me the other day that would surprise me what they do in the Caribbean with some of the oil. Why don't you talk to the audience about that also?
Oh yeah, and also so basically the used cooking oil has three main components that is used for. So it's biodiesel for biodiesel fuel to run cars and even jets now and so forth. I just mentioned the soap, and then also for example in some of the poor countries, not even poor countries, in India and even bigger countries, what they use that same oil for livestock to feed livestock. So that's a cheaper way of them, the farmers mixing in that that oil and growing up their livestock.
Let me ask you a question. So some of the biggest offenders, and this has come out, we've done stories on this before, where I think we got a report, I think someone called us, one of the restaurants or something was pouring it out or something, dumping it. I was able to contact City Hall right away, and City Hall was actually sent somebody out. And that was just one incident. I'm not always out and I don't always get calls. Are we staying on the city to monitor that? Because that was what was being done. They were dumping it in the sewer, and that was affecting, always that go out to the waterways or something. One of the problems we were having with our waterway, the water going out into the water.
Yeah, it does, AJ. So what's happening right now is that what we're doing is that they're doing lid drops of these flyers that we have, and they've been sending them out to all the restaurants and everything like that. And as I said, our campaign is good until April 14th, and the city is going to be interested in furthering this campaign into a city-wide initiative. So I think after talking with some members of the city, they suggested that we meet with them. At the same time, they're looking to possibly look at this for legislation and enforcement. So they're looking at this overall. And one thing about this, and Jose has helped, when we put the oil in and he picks it up, it's free. He's doing it for free. He's picking up the oil for free. It's no charge. He's got a business to run. So we want to be able to get that oil into those barrels so he can make some money on those barrels and be useful for the environment and help our city so people will not pour the oil down the drains. And that means all the churches, because we do a lot of cooking on Sundays in our churches. We do a lot of cooking in our restaurants and our homes. So we really need to re-educate our community of what's possible and what's available for us. And I think we'll get the message out further discussions. This will be helpful. But I know the city is definitely interested in furthering this program because they think it's a great idea. And it couples with what we're trying to do with DPW and the city with flow into the Hudson River and other areas.
Right. I'm glad to hear that because legislation, it will take legislation and it will take enforcement to stop those people that are dumping it straight. They have large amounts that they're dumping straight into the sewer. Yeah. That's even, homes is one thing, but those businesses got to be held accountable too. And, I know there's a cost for them to do it the right way. So is there a plan to work more with them so they can, they're, as picking up maybe once a month or
if I could jump in, there's really no, you got a good point. You can't compare, the effect of, let's say, a big complex where Marvin lives, it's small amount of cooking oil that is going into the drainage. But when you're talking about restaurants, I mean, I pick up restaurants that pick up 50, 70 gallons a week, almost 200 gallons a month. It's a lot of oil, especially, in our neighborhoods, we do a lot of frying. You know what I'm saying? So that's, that's an issue. So everybody should contribute, but especially the restaurants. And there's no excuse for a restaurant owner to do that. It's not an expense no more. Like I said, back in the days, it was an expense. So maybe people were doing to save a couple of bucks. That's not the case no more. The case is that it's free of charge, and they might even get a free complimentary grease trap, or for example, our company, the restaurants that produce a lot of oil. That's how we create revenue. We give them a discount on the grease trap cleaning, or a complimentary grease trap cleaning. So it's a win-win for the owner, for the restaurant.
Right, but and again, just and not to harp on too much. I'm glad to hear that y'all are working with the city, and the city is being amenable to it, because it can't happen without the enforcement part. One of the things in cities like Mount Vernon, and unfortunately, not to beat up on my city, but you can get away with things in Mount Vernon that you might not be able to get away with in, like, say, a White Plains or a Scarsdale, because the enforcement is so strict. And we need to, people need to, yes, it's Mount Vernon, but yes, we need the enforcement for that too. We don't need to be having that being dumped in it just because this is Mount Vernon, and all those other excuses that you hear. And it's going out into what you said, the Hutchinson River and all these other things. We got all these federal departments, talking about what we're leaking into the water, that's part of that.
Yeah, and if you look at it, that's going to cost, if the government officials look at it at long term, that's going to cost the city of Mount Vernon a lot of money, because they're going to have to sooner or later go into that system, and now that's going to be it's going to be damaged. So sooner or later they're going to have to replace that. So it's best to enforce it now to pay the price later.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like I said, there's advantages, and we're so glad Jose's working with us. He's got the experience, he's got the know-how, and the free word, the word to a lot of restaurants and business. This is free to dump the oil in the barrels. And Jose, as he said, we are right now using 55-gallon drums. He's 200-gallon drums. He's got large drums, and that can be utilized if this program is successful. And I think we need to the message is getting out there. And we're really happy you guys give us the opportunity to introduce Jose to Mount Vernon and our surrounding area. But this is a very critical issue in our communities, and we just don't realize how critical this is.
And one last question about the barrels and stuff. And again, this is, we don't know, and just so everybody understand, these barrels, once they pour it in, it's not like it can leak out of there, or it's going to be like those that they contain.
So I originally, I was telling Marvin that I'm in the process of switching the barrels to make it more, it comes with a lid. The barrels that we have now come with a lid. So it's a little bit harder, because the customer or whoever dumps has to open up the lid and dump it themselves. So if they don't put the lid back the correct way, there could be some spillage. So I actually order some additional lids that this one has a top. So it comes with the lid. All they have to do is open up the lid and pour it in. It has its own thing. It's locked with it has a lock on it, so it's secure. So I'm in the process of changing that barrel. So once that barrel once I change that barrel, the leakage is going to be very minimum at most. So if more people take the time and just pour it in correctly, there shouldn't be no leakage.
If I'm willing to, I'm here in Mount Vernon, I'm willing to work with Marvin and you on a scheduled day to go to one of the barrels or something and actually video. Like, if there's a process, this is the right way to do it, and actually video, like almost an instructive video showing people this is how you do it, and
Yeah.
putting it on Black Westchester so people can see. Because if you don't know, you don't know. I mean, and that's the thing. You don't know. You think, oh, I did it right. You don't know. You didn't close it right or whatever. So if there's a process and we show them at least,
Yeah.
making it even easier for them, I'm willing to go meet y'all and just videotape it and put it on Black Westchester so we can make that happen in the very near future.
And let me add something to that. That's great. That's a great point. I'm more than willing. I'm gonna change the barrels this week. So like that, we could film that. And also, some restaurants that we encounter don't have the space, so they don't have the space. They have a small space, especially here in the city, New York. They don't have a basement. They don't have space. So they can't afford to put a 55-gallon container because they just don't have space. So we also pick up the used cooking oil just as long as it's sealed. The original 5-gallon, 35-gallon pound that you buy in Jetro or from Cisco, one of these companies. Some of these restaurants, what they do is they keep that original container, the plastic one, and then they pour the used cooking oil back there. They seal it. They don't get rid of the top, and we take the oil like that as well. So, for example, if somebody has at home Mazola, 2.5 gallon, and they want to pour it in there and seal it, we could also remove. We could also take it like that as well. Remove it as that as well. And we could show them once we get together. I'll show them the way we do it. Pump up the oil with the hose. And also, with the 5-gallon ones as well.
Now, also, I would let you know quickly one major thing. Jose has current clients in Mount Vernon right now, which is great. What kind of clients do you have in Mount Vernon right now, Jose? You don't have to say the names, but what kind of clients do you have?
I have a few. Well, I spread out throughout Westchester counties. I have Mount Vernon, Yonkers, White Plains, Pellahan. So I'm spread out. And obviously in the city. I have a restaurant chain, a supermarket chain, and I have a few restaurants as well. And I have a couple of, not in Mount Vernon, but I also service some church, the United House of Prayers down in Harlem. I service them as well. So yeah, out of diversity, and I have some schools as well. So besides restaurants, we do schools, we do church, we do firehouses. We do a couple of firehouses here in the city as well. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
We follow the oil. So wherever the oil is at, we try to remove it. Yeah.
This is I want to share with our audience. This whole environmental thing is very important. It's something we don't pay enough attention to. And while I'm 58, you know what I mean? So, like the damages that we're doing is for our kids, the world our kids and our grandkids are going to live in. What kind of world are we leaving for them? You understand what I'm saying? And this is important. And it does take education, especially in our communities where we're not, a lot of this is not pushed. That's why I like the work that ELOC is doing. Because, you're teaching young people, and like the young girls that came on, that's good to see. Now they can go home and tell their parents and their aunts and uncles, and you know what I mean? And they're really feeling it. But it's important that we move on this environmental stuff. It's not a joke. And we're killing this planet.
Yeah.
We're killing this planet. We're not handling the resources that were given to us, and we're killing it. And one of the things I said about COVID, that was the planet taking some time off because you couldn't travel. There was no air. There was no, the air was so much cleaner because you couldn't drive, you couldn't do nothing, and it was just cleaner. It was almost like the planet taking a vacation, getting a breather for a minute, so you can't keep misusing the planet and not getting some detrimental responses to that. Every action has a reaction.
Right.
Yeah, that is so true.
Any last words that you got for the people? And Marvin, well, I hear from you often. We can set that up whenever y'all are ready. You just let me know ahead of time, and we'll make that happen with the video and everything. And I think that'll be very important.
Okay, great. I really just really thankful that Jose has joined the team here and going to be helping us in Mount Vernon and other locations. And hopefully we will have a successful program here in Mount Vernon where we can work with other municipalities throughout Westchester County. And we want to see Jose's business expand and do the right thing, what he's been doing. And that's very important to us, and make his business and hopefully his family will be able to prosper by us helping Jose.
Thank you. Thank you, Marvin. I really appreciate it. I'm very, very excited. And this pilot program, for various reasons. Obviously, as a small business owner, obviously I want to grow, but more importantly, it's a win for the environment. And it's a win for the restaurant owners. It's just a win all around. So, the restaurant owner wins, the city of Mount Vernon, in this case, wins, and the planet itself with the environment. Yeah.
And I think, that's the thing I want to leave on. Not that I don't want to see any Black and brown business grow. You know what I'm saying? Not that I want to. I don't even want to make it about that. Like, it's important. Like, by not taking advantage of this now and utilizing your offer of doing this for free, the penalty that we will pay is going to be a lot more. The cleanup, the penalties, the fines, the damage it's going to do, the money we're going to pay to repair that is going to be insurmountable. And you know what I'm saying? So we might as well take advantage of this now. You know what I'm saying? Is that you pay now or you pay later? You don't even have to pay now. You know what I'm saying? But you will pay later if you don't take care of this stuff. And I just want to get that out there, like, breaking it down like that for everybody.
Yeah. You're 100% right. So thank you guys. I really appreciate you inviting me to the platform, and hopefully start off something big. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for your work, bro. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you, JJ, for giving us this opportunity.
Absolutely.
Right, good night. Good night, guys.
Good night.
God bless. Bye, Marvin.
Okay, see you.
So, and I just want to wrap this up like, I know that was a crazy transition because that conversation we're going to get back into was supposed to go on after that, but I just got, so the transition was crazy for everybody to follow a little bit. But we want to do these, we dealing with a lot of stuff. The show's called People Before Politics. And even though we will always be dealing with the politics, this is one of them issues about the people. You know what I'm saying? And we need to to have these. We need to bring this. We need to continue to use this format. Like I said, this is show 391. You know what I'm saying? We're 9 shows away from the 400th episode, and we need to continue as long as we have this platform to bring attention to issues like this, because these issues are very important for our future. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you might not care, but we're talking about the future that your children and your grandchildren and their children live in. You know what I'm saying? And we should be leaving this place better than we found it. And that's not what we're doing. We're harming this place. And especially in our communities. And it's because these conversations don't always happen in our communities with us. And we don't always hear from people that look like us that break it down for us and stuff like that. So it was important to have that segment. So I thank them for coming through. And again, I'm willing to meet them and do like a little video on the proper way of opening it and closing it if there's a proper way. So, we're doing it right, not just doing it and then making a mess while we're doing it, but we're actually doing it right. And so that's that. Shout out to them. Is there anything else you want to get into before I continue my conversation I was doing before?
Nah, man. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Knock yourself out, bro.
All right. So for those who don't know, if you just tuned in, you're listening to Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics radio show. This is episode 391. We are we give you the real talk for the community since 2014. I started out before the segment talking about the article that read in Rolling Stone, and I thought it was powerful because it highlights and it points out that Israel lobby pushes the lie that people are not starving in Gaza. And it starts out as Gaza nears famine. The pro-Israel lobby, AIPAC, instructs supporters to tell lawmakers reports that people are starving in Gaza are false. This week, Washington's top Israel lobby is rallying the supporters to go to Capitol Hill and falsely claim to lawmakers that people aren't starving in Gaza, that Israel isn't blocking humanitarian aid, and so on and so on. And in the article, it goes on to spell out all the things. Why all things are local? This group, this Washington's top Israel lobby, AIPAC, AIPAC, is considerably contributing to the campaign of George Latimer. And again, so we start. I know if you heard before we did that segment, you heard me say this. We rocked with George, so this is not an attack on George. We endorsed him over, when he unseated Astorino. We endorsed him. We worked with him on some issues. Damon was on one of the advisory boards. We worked with him on the veto for the menthol ban and several issues, and we covered a lot of the great things that he did as county executive. So there's no taking away from that. The job he did as county executive. No, but this organization right now in this race,
many different.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I'm like, where am I hearing echoes? I'm thinking I got something.
Go ahead.
I got something playing in the background that I couldn't.
Yeah, my bad.
No problem.
After you finish, I'm going to cue this in. I'm trying to cue it. My bad. I didn't think you could hear it.
Yeah. So where was I? This group has given more than $607,000 to George's campaign. This group is one of the groups that were responsible for encouraging Republican voters to switch their party affiliation to Democrat so they could, with the express purpose of voting against Jamal Bowman in the Democratic primary. I have a problem with Republicans having any influence over the Democratic primary. If Democrats feel that George is the better candidate, they should be free to vote that way and without interference from 2,300 or more Republicans. If they feel like Jamal deserves re-election, then they should be free to vote that way without the influence of 2,300 plus Republicans. What they're doing, that part, and there's a couple, this part, that part suppresses the vote and the wishes of the Democratic voters who are Democrats and vote in the Democratic Party, a primary for who is going to represent the Democrats in the general election. That's one thing. Then two, what concerns me is if they're doing this and encouraging all their members to take these talking points so they can go out and tell the lawmakers, the congressmen in Capitol Hill, these false claims, are they doing this with our county executive, giving him bad information and false narratives to put out to the people again? Your microphone is not on. Your microphone is muted. So none of that you said was heard.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
They're not giving him bad information. They're telling him what to say.
Well, I'm sorry.
When you're brought and paid for, they tell you what to say.
But this article identifies that they're giving talking points. And I want to address this now before there's a possibility of hearing these talking points in this upcoming election in the campaign. Because if we hear any of these things, we know where it came from because it has been exposed already.
Bruh, he's been using talking points from the first day that he announced.
We know that. We know that. But
Oh,
what I'm
so-
saying here is the future talking points have been exposed. If those words come out, we know, like, he has denied that anybody he's be influenced by anybody. He has denied that. But if these talking points that are in this article that we're going to hear legislators saying in Congress soon, if we hear these coming out of his mouth, we know that that is the influence from APAC.
Man,
And we will be on that. And we're hoping that putting this out now, we stop that from happening.
It's still going to happen.
This to be a clean.
No, but AJ, you're missing the point.
Yeah.
It's still going to happen because if you say a lie long enough, it becomes the truth.
No, that's true.
It's still going to happen because he's gonna talk to misinformed voters. There are still black people walking around here that don't know what the hell an APAC is, don't even understand that. But what they're going to do is they're going to go, as people usually do, ask someone else who you voting for. Well, I'm going to vote for that person without even doing their due diligence into researching the candidate and finding out what's going on. So
let me rephrase it. I'm exposing this that has already been exposed.
Oh,
so
no.
when you hear these talking points, you know where they're coming from and you know what to do at the ballot box.
Yeah, but if you're
arming
not
you with this information.
Yeah, true. But they still have to be due diligence because he's going to say it to people that he knows, man. Like it's really crazy how the black electorate in Westchester is very ignorant to politics. And
that's by design because there's no civics taught. A lot of people, when you don't know, you don't know. You don't know, you don't know.
After a while, come on, man. Because
when you don't know, you don't know. And when you don't know, you can't teach your kids.
But
and when there's nobody teach.
No, but these are the first people that are complaining.
Yes, I know.
All right. So see, you can't complain and don't do the proper research. You can't complain when you don't want to read. Right? You can't complain. You know, that's why on social media it's real big now to use the AI voice to explain because niggas don't read. I can't say it no other way. So you know, we have to begin to educate ourselves. And it's crazy that no one is having real conversations, especially black Democrats, that their party has been taken over right under their noses. And they don't even want to see it. You know, as I went back to the early day with the early conversation with Wagstaff, I'm like, dude, do you think those 2,300 people are going to vote for you to be the first black DA? Because they're not looking at your qualifications. They're looking at your skin. And we got to have real honest conversations about that. And then so they're doing a detriment to really the rise of black political power. This election, we could have the first black district attorney. We could elect the first black congressman in District 16, and we could put in the first black woman in District 17, or reelect reelect Mondear Jones, who was the first black man in District 17 before. So, I mean, we have an opportunity to finally have some type of political power where people look like us in these decision-making positions on especially the DA's office. Everybody's crying about how bad the criminal justice system is. And nobody's upset that they done brought over 2,300 Republicans that ain't going to vote for them. So now he's already 2,300 votes in a hole. Like, what are we doing, Black people in Westchester County? Are we just happy to have some jobs? Happy to go to work every day? And then that's it? And they give us some chicken at a barbecue and things like that, and we're all good? But we're not looking at real power? Are we just happy to sit at the table? I sat at the table for 2 years, and they wasted my goddamn time. That's what they did. Nothing got done. And that's what they do. We just happy. We just happy to sit at the table. So we really have to start looking at what's going on. Because sooner or later, you won't be able to get a Black elected official on a state and a federal level. Only Black ones you're going to see is going to be in Mount Vernon. On a county level, if they keep that 2,300, they could swing the Democratic primary Republicans now. Listen to what I'm saying. 2,300 Republicans switch their party to the Democratic Party. Only to be Bowman, but when they're specific, say we want to take out the first Black man. But do you think they're going to stop there? And not one Black pastor in Westchester County has said anything publicly about this. Not one Black leader in Westchester County has said anything about this publicly.
So wait. So my apologies. I have been talking about what has my attention been on for the last 10 minutes because you've been talking and I haven't been looking in the screen. A future guest, somebody that was supposed to be on today, they got the time messed up, and we're gonna have to reschedule them. And I'm working through that and talking to others who are watching the show.
Don't right in my mouth. That's what we do.
No. But I just want to address the comment that I just got. But go ahead.
No, while you was, I was doing the same thing while you was. I was doing the same thing. But we have to recognize that, man. Like, come on, y'all. Y'all wake up and see what's actually going on in front of your face. And if they pull this off in June, I could say Ken Jenkins should forget about it because they're gonna run somebody against him. They're gonna stab him in the back. This is the opportunity we have as Black people. Like, and it's very important because our Black children need to see people in those power positions. Whether we disagree with Obama or not, the most important thing of Obama's presidency, that young Black children can see a Black family in that White House.
I was married at the time. I had two stepdaughters that were actually the same age as Obama's daughters. And I was always nailing that home for them. What you see when you turn on the TV, none of us have ever seen. You know what I'm saying? When I was your age, Amy Carter didn't look like me, and whatever the other kids, that's the only kid I can remember, presidential kid. None of them kids look. You could actually see two Black girls that are actually your age that look like you in the White House for the first time ever. That's powerful. You know what I'm saying? Representation is everything. If you see it, you can achieve it. A lot of times we don't go certain places and we don't achieve certain things because we can't even see it in ourselves. You know, we tell our children, yeah, you could be the first this, first that, but they ain't never seen nothing. I've heard other people tell their kids, oh, you could be the first black president. They ain't never seen a black president. They ain't even think that was possible. But my stepdaughters were able to see themselves every time Obama brought his family out. And that was powerful. Representation is everything. But we also have to be careful. Everyone who looks like us is not for us. So that's the work we got to do. You know what I'm saying? To find out if these are really authentic or they're just black faces that they're putting in a place to you know what I'm saying, to pacify us. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, you got a black this and a black, but that person is loyal to you, not to us. That person don't represent us. You know what I'm saying? And we have that. Like that elected official down south. And Trump told him he was Martin Luther King on steroids. He was Martin Luther King twice, ×2. This dude ain't talking about nothing that benefit black people. He want to take all the black rights away and ban books and do all the other stuff that everybody else want to do. That dude don't represent us, but he a black face.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Tim Scott don't represent me and you. He a black face. But he chucking and jiving to get on Trump's team, kissing that man's ass every chance he can, playing the hell out of himself, making us all look bad. You know, shucking and jiving. But I'm just saying, I'm not saying that you can't be a black Republican, and I'm not even saying you can't support Trump. But I'm saying this man is kissing his ass and doing everything and shucking and jiving, and that shit don't do us no good either.
Because he's trying to be VP.
Yeah, I know.
But that's how Trump gets him. I don't know what it is about Trump.
Yeah,
you know,
but
that's
I was just using him as an example of somebody that's a black face that don't represent us. Like I was just saying, every black face.
Well, I mean, look, there's black Democrats that don't represent them.
Absolutely. I'm talking about locally too. Locally too. Yeah, I just didn't call the names out yet. Locally,
there's a whole bunch of questionable DNA family members. You know, when it comes to representing black interests, you know, and they sell us out, you know, all the time.
Need to have their black cards revoked, point blank. Yeah.
Well, we one day we're gonna make a list of expired black people.
Yep, people with expired black cards. They no good no more. They're no longer invited to the cookout.
Black community
They're no longer invited to the cookout. Their cards are no good.
Exactly.
Yeah,
because I've already seen some shucking and jiving, you know, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting for one of them to come at us, you know, for what we say, and I can't wait. I can't.
And it's gonna happen because it's happened before.
Yeah, I can't wait for one of them to come at us.
Because they always use one of us to try to take another one down. They always use somebody that look like us. And every movement, every pro-black movement, everything.
Exactly.
They use a black person to get in to tear down them groups and them leaders.
But this shows you how serious it is. But it's still, man, like we should be really disappointed in the silence to what's going on. Like I really don't. I mean, it's sad.
I'm getting text messages calling out a few names.
Well, we're gonna listen. We're gonna make a list.
And I agree. To the message you got, I agree 100%. But we'll save that for another day. But I agree with you 100%. He is definitely one of them. Yes.
You know, so it's amazing, and we have to pull a list out sooner or later. You know, because these people, whoever said anything, you know,
silence comes off as complicit. You know, y'all quote Martin Luther King all the time. And one of the things he said is, and I paraphrase, it's not those people coming at us that is our biggest threat. is y'all that are silent about it and won't speak up against it. That's a bigger threat. Those that look like us, who are silent and won't say nothing. They see it and they know it, but they won't say nothing. Y'all are a bigger threat than the people that are coming after us.
Yeah, basically. Basically. So let's jump in. Let's jump into this, man, because this was everybody.
Oh yeah, you had a video or something. You had something you want to show.
I got a couple of things going on.
Okay.
So let's jump into this, man. So the PBA president, and people, man, don't get mad at Black Westchester, bro. Like, we just reporting the news, man. And since we're reporting the news, don't get mad at us. Don't hate. You know,
don't shoot the messenger.
Exactly. You got a problem with what's being said, and you call that man. Leave. Don't talk to my wife. Don't have anything to say to my wife about it. It says Mount Vernon PBA president. That's what it says. It's not ain't no opinion from us in there. This is his statement. So he goes on and he questions the Mount Vernon city government for the city council, the controller, and the mayor for giving themselves raises. And he basically was saying that, you know, and he put a list up there for all y'all can see, you know, with all the financial situations that's going on, that the mayor now with this raise is one of the highest paid mayors in Westchester County. But the police department is still one of the lowest paid police departments in Westchester County. And the fact that they negotiated on good faith that the city had no money. And they're still waiting for their retroactive pay. You know, and they feel like the city didn't negotiate in good faith, and to the fact that the police department is probably, I think, 30 officers under what it should be. And that's not, I'm not saying it. PBA president's saying it.
So let's go back 1 second. So for those who don't know, this week the city council took a vote whether or not to give the city council, the controller, and the mayor a raise. I believe the vote was 4-0 with Edward Petit abstaining for conflict of interest, but it was 4-0. So it says that the controller and the city council, our elected officials like the police were one of the lowest paid in the county. Now with these raises, the controller and the city council are now the second highest paid in the county. And the mayor is somewhere in the middle, just above the middle. So she's no longer in the bottom half of the bottom or the
She's
bottom half. She's in the top tier. She's up in the top, but she's over the midway point. There's been residents on that have been outspoken about it. They were trying to get people to come to the city council city council meeting to and they were calling on the council to vote against it. And then during that time, the PBA president wrote a statement after the raises were voted on. And one of the things that he says in his editorial, in his statement, is that he wished that they used this metric, that so they wouldn't be the elected officials wouldn't be at the bottom no more, and they would be more comparable to what's going on in the county. And they wish this is what he had been asking them to do with the police department salaries, to make it more comparable to the county, because in addition to that, 121 I don't know the numbers in the article. It's in the statement. 120 something people have left Mount Vernon Police Department to other departments around the county or to county police to make more money. Some people, one person I saw that he commented on, he was saying goodbye to. They were going to Bronxville, which is right down the road. The cops' commute is 5 minutes longer, but he's going to be making $45,000 more. It's kind of a no-brainer. Like, you're not even driving up north. You're driving 5 minutes away, you're making $45,000 more. And they go in the Greenberg department and they go in the county police and you know, it's the lowest paid. It's hard to keep quality. It's hard to keep quality officers here if you're not going to pay them. And the arguments that were used by the elected officials to justify the raises are the argument that he was making, that he says he was making, for the police being paid a proper wage and a more comparative wage with others in the county. So I just wanted to give a little back, like, because everyone didn't know the story and everyone didn't know there was a vote and everyone didn't know all of this. So I wanted to give a little bit of, you know, context with it, why this statement is being made.
You know, I think, yeah, they deserve, the city council and the mayor deserve to have a raise, right? But before they could do their raise, they need to handle their business on the money that the city has owed and things that needs to be done. So that there's so many lawsuits out there, and the infrastructure, the sewers, all that things, get all that done first. Fix the city first. Make sure your police department, and Nick is right. They should have used the same guidelines and the same standards that they got their raises. They should have used it for the police department. I mean, that's only fair. It's just not the least amount. And the fact that, according to the PBA, they negotiated in good faith and worked those numbers out because the city said they didn't have money. Even the comptroller came on the show at that time and he said they only had 1.5 million in reserve.
Something like that. I have to go back and see the exact number.
That was horrible. For a city with 80,000 people, you only have 1.5 million in your emergency fund. Just 1.5 million.
I want to stop right there. So something else was posted, and it goes to what Damon and I have been saying for a long time. Elections have consequences. We had one of the people that was running for city council, Lauren Carter, who during the campaign announced that she would reduce her councilperson's salary to assist taxpayers. She lost.
Exactly.
And the council people that you voted for just voted for a raise. Now, I'm not calling anybody specifically out. I'm just saying, I'm just showing there's a cause and effect. Elections have consequences. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people are complaining now about things that they voted for.
Well, not only that.
And the saying says, you get the government you deserve because you get the government you vote for.
And let's take it even further. When Andre ran, he said he would reduce his salary in order to bring up the commissioner's salary so they could get quality commissioners over their departments. And guess what? Y'all ain't vote for him neither. You ain't vote for him neither. So, you get what you get. You get what you get. And it is what it is. See, but you know, the sad thing about it, and it just goes, you know, everybody's like, what could I get out of it? So as long as you good, you don't give a fuck about anybody else. That's what it basically come down to with a lot of people. As long as you good, you don't give a fuck about anybody else. So we could continue. We're going to continue to report these things because people do these things. Because that's the type of mentality that we're dealing with. And then we wonder why the communities don't change. And for the last some odd years that we've been in effect, we're talking about the same shit over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Right? Different players, but the same shit over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Yo, it just amazes me. It just amazes me. And we write the news. We report it. And I'm like, we could just take one elected official out and just put another elected official name in it because it's the same shit.
As we celebrate our 10-year anniversary, we've been telling you all the same thing about, there's been 4 mayors since we've been doing this. There's been, I think, 20 plus individual council persons since we've been doing this. We're on our 3rd controller since we've been doing this. And, you know, at some point, you got to be like, you know, we're quick to say it was all somebody's fault. But we're still going through a lot of the same things. And it's getting worse. It's a bigger problem than just that one person that's not there that we voted out before, that we said it was their fault and we had to do better and we had to vote them out. Why are we still going through a lot of the same things 10 years later? Why are some things worse than they were 10 years later? It's questions you have to ask yourself. We have to understand the power of the vote. If you're going to use your vote, don't just, like, if you're not going to, okay, so here's a tricky situation. If you're not going to do your due diligence, you're not going to just look and see who the best candidates are. You're just going to vote row A all the way because that's what you're being told. You might as well not even vote. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least use your vote for something. At least know that you're voting for the best candidate. At least look and find out who the best candidate is. Stop voting for people because they look like us or because they're friends or went to high school with them or their family's good friends with my family. A whole lot of people fall in that category I would never vote for. I'm going to tell you straight up in this city and in this county. A lot of people. A lot of people got jobs that are cool with my family I would never have voted for. And I didn't vote for them. That's not the reason to vote. We have to understand other groups of people understand how to utilize their vote, how to get the most for their vote for their community. Hell, one group of people that was telling people to switch from Republican to Democrat to vote Jamal Bowman out. They were saying, put the community over the party. It's community first. Well, what their community wants is more important to them than supporting the party. So as long as they get their way for their community, they're good by any means necessary. We don't think like that. We think party first.
Right.
And where has that gotten you? That's one I just want to ask. Where has that gotten you? Voting for people because they have a D by their name. Voting for people because everybody else is voting for them. Voting for them because your city's Democratic committee said that's who they're supporting. Voting for people on a ticket. That's how we get some people in there. Like, how the hell did that person get in? Because they was on the ticket with some other people. And you just voted all the way through. And you done put some people in there that don't need to be in there. And this is not just a Mount Vernon thing. This is an all over thing, especially Westchester, especially the black community, but all over. Like, yo, if you ain't gonna take this voting thing serious, man, like, it is your job. It is your responsibility to do your due diligence and look into. We try to give it to you. We try our best. And if y'all call us and say, you know, we want so-and-so, we want to hear from so-and-so, we try our best to get the candidates on. We try to ask them the tough questions and put them in a forum like this where even some of your questions can be answered. You know what I mean? I personally moderated a few of these. And once we do that, the ball is in your court. I can only bring you the information. We can only lead a horse to water. We can't make a horse drink. You know what I'm saying? So at some point, this will never change until you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And until you're ready to do something about it, I'm tired of you calling us about it. And I'm tired of you voting for somebody and then calling us about it and complaining about them. Especially if it was some stuff we pointed out to you ahead of time and you went and voted for that person anyway. The first thing you do, and again, this is not a Mount Vernon thing. I get calls from all over Westchester about these people vote for a person that's been in office 20-something years, 30-something years. They complain about him every year, but he keep getting elected.
Paul Finer.
Yeah, I get calls from White Plains, for the black community in White Plains. Mayor Roach keep getting elected. I get calls from these other cities. Why these people keep getting elected? But you call us though to be like, we got to do something. Yeah, y'all did. Y'all voted for him. That's what you're doing. Something was you voted for him again.
Right. Yeah. You got to do something, Black
because he gave you a basketball tournament and some awards and some proclamations, or you know what I'm saying. Back in the days, with some hot dogs and hamburgers at a bouncy house, or you know, turkeys out the back of a truck like the mobsters used to do back in the days, like Frank Lucas and them did. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Thanksgiving and shit. You know, and he good with us. Yo, I'm not gonna, you know, and I had a conversation with Damon, and Damon was like, yo, because I asked him just to get the answer. So if you feel that way, why do you keep doing what you do? Why do we keep doing what we do? He said, we're doing our job. Our job is to give the information. And I totally 100% agree with that. As long as we continue and we continue to broker the difficult conversation. That's the other thing that we have to, as a people and as not just black people, period, we have to start being uncomfortable. We have to be comfortable having the uncomfortable conversations. We're not comfortable having the uncomfortable conversations. If I don't agree, like that man told me and Damon we were anti-Semitic because we didn't agree with him. But when we called him anti-black, that's exactly why. Why you call me anti-black? Because I don't agree with you? Isn't that why you call me anti-Semitic? Everything said about a Jewish person is not anti-Semitic. Some things are true. Everything said about a black person is not racist. Some of it is true. Now, you might not like the way it's being said. You might not even like who's saying it. But at some point, you have to look, is what they're saying true? And that's up to you to do that. Or we can just keep going on the way we're going on, and, you know, we can keep complaining and keep not doing shit, and, you know, see how that goes for you. Because it obviously ain't working. I agree. Some of the issues we dealing with was the same issues we dealing with when Davis and Clinton was in office. I agree. And Mount Vernon, that is, as mayor. We're still dealing with it now. I agree. The League of Women Voters put out yearly a fair workup of all candidates for decades, and it's free, and no one picks it up. They do it every year. They do it every election. They do it. You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute. They do it every election.
Yeah, because you know why? People don't because see, the goal is this. The goal is always to get certain community influencers to go around and influence people to vote. You know, people ask me, like, are you? I'm not, and I tell them, I'm not voting for that person. And they say, why? And you tell them why. And then they say, oh, I'm not voting for him either. Right? But I tell people, go on Black Westchester and read. Right? We give you the information to make your choice.
And if you have questions after that, we'll be glad to get the answers for you.
Hey,
but
listen,
you have to read. You have to read what we put out. You have to
all the
follow
time.
it. You have to
All
follow
the time.
People who have problems with us. Let me just interrupt you real quick. I walk the streets. I'm not driving, so I walk these streets. And people have come up to me at various times and talk about Black Westchester is making Mount Vernon look bad. I said, why are we making Mount Vernon bad? Like we're exposing the people that are doing wrong. Why are they not the ones doing the bad things are not making Mount Vernon look bad? But the fact that we're talking about it, we're making Mount Vernon look bad. When you further have conversations and they say Black Westchester doesn't put nothing positive up, when you call out certain particular stories that was done and ask them, have they read it? They go, no, I don't even read Black Westchester. So let me just tell you, don't come up to me like, yo, we can have a conversation, but do me the dignity of at least reading what we said and what we wrote before you come to me with any conversation. Because if you ain't read what we put out and you ain't heard what we said, yo, miss me with all that. I'm gonna be real.
But that's not going to happen,
no,
right?
No.
Because it's easy. It's easy to dismiss, you know, than to really have an intelligent conversation about an issue. It's always easier to dismiss. You know, I welcome anybody who ever want to have an intelligent conversation about issues. Y'all welcome to come on the show. You know, because what we put on in the paper and on that website, we research it. So I'm ready. I'm ready to defend what I write, what my name is on, and what's on the website.
And in the off chance, because we're not perfect, we make a mistake because we went by the information that we had at the time. When I find out more information, I do update it, and I do make I do admit that, okay, by what I knew at the time, that's what we was going with. But now we've later found out new facts, and this is the whole thing. And I can be wrong every now and then. I have no problem with that. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody always right, but a lot of times we're putting out what's going on. We're putting out what the people are saying. We shared what the PBA president says. You know what I'm saying? What he's fighting for. We share what these people are feeling. We let people write their op-eds. Juanita Lewis of the Community Voices Heard wrote an op-ed response to county.
You know what? Let's talk about that.
Wrote an op-ed in a response to George Latimer's county what is it? State of the county address. And I want to pull it up on my phone so I can, because I can't read. I'm on my iPhone, so those letters right there real small there. But she basically was dissatisfied for him failing to address the housing crisis in Westchester County. They've been advocating for it. The county put out a report in 2019, and she said they've been doing this over and over and over, and she feels that they're failing in that, and the county is dealing with the county has a housing crisis and it's not being addressed. So you can read that. Here it goes. Okay, I just wanted to pull it up. Thank you for your patience. So Juanita Lewis, the executive director of the County Voices Heard, issued the following statement on the growing housing crisis in Westchester County. The health and prosperity of our Westchester communities depends on having safe, affordable housing. Over the past several years, rent and housing in Westchester have continued to skyrocket without any relief for families. As we highlight in our report, Building Westchester's Future, the need for affordable and equitable housing, Westchester is in a severe housing crisis marked by extreme racial disparities. Unfortunately, County Executive Latimer and his administration have failed again and again to address the crisis, despite repeated warnings from housing advocates. The county's own 2019 housing report found that Westchester has a severe shortage of deeply affordable housing and senior housing, and the problem has only grown worse since then. An increasing number of families are spending half or more of their incomes on rent or mortgage payments, and the county hasn't implemented any kind of plan to stabilize costs and grow the stock of truly affordable housing. Westchester also has a one-time opportunity to spend $100 million of the ARPA funds to support deeply affordable housing for people with household incomes at 30% the AMI or less, 44,000 or less for a four-person family. Yet the county plans to spend the money to develop housing for households making up 65% of the area median income, or $95,000 and above for a family of four. Real housing affordability should be a top priority of County Executive Latimer, but instead, families in Westchester have been left behind once again. Now, this is the executive director of Community Voices Heard. This is not Black Westchester. She was at the state of the county. I actually, after we covered the rally, I went home. I didn't go. I heard it was crowded. I wasn't even trying to get in there. They was telling people they couldn't get in, so I didn't see it. So, and I have yet to watch it because I've been busy this weekend. But this is her assessment as a housing advocate, for a long time, a reputable housing advocate. And this is her assessment of George Latimer's, which she said failing to address Westchester housing crisis. Now, again, there's going to be some like, oh, there you go, just beating up George because he don't like George because George running against Jamal. I didn't write this. These are not my words. These are not the words of Black Westchester. This is housing advocate Juanita Lewis, who has been putting in work forever, who has been honored by every organization, probably including the county, for the work she's done. This is her assessment, and this is what she wrote after seeing the state of the county address. So again, there's some people that this is a conversation that we need to have with our county executive who is running for Congress but it's a conversation, more importantly, we need to have for the people that will be running to be his successor. Before we vote for his successor, these things need to be addressed. Or we're not, and then anybody who's not speaking in our interest, we need not to vote for them. You're mute, you're on mute, you're on mute.
Correct. So Sandy Bernardi spoke at the rally.
Yes.
And she brought up, I forgot about this report. But she brought up this report, and I'm getting ready to bring it up right now. So this here,
oh wait, I'm being correct. Someone else is saying Juanita Lewis has been ringing this bell way before George got in.
Well, absolutely.
And she's continuing to ring it now. So this is not a thing against Latimer. And this is coming from our listeners.
Well, you know what?
That know who Juanita Lewis is.
Right. No, well, it's still a response to Latimer because according to what I read, he was provided this information. So once you're provided information in the position of that you're in at the county exec, you know, you're expected to act on that information, you know, if you're provided the information, right? So and
the county put out their own report in 2019, their own housing report that found Westchester has a severe shortage of deeply affordable housing and senior housing. So the problem has only got worse since their report.
Right, it's just got worse. So Sandy was saying the same thing because these numbers. So in 2020, it was the state of Westchester, the 2020 State of Black Children Youth Report. I guess the old Black Westchester website, we had this up here. But what she was saying that the numbers hasn't changed. And once again, it was given to George, you know, to literally address it, you know, the state of Black children. So yeah, and if you read these numbers, right? So Black children are 14% of Westchester's children, but they're 41% of public school children that receive out of school suspensions. They're 56% in the foster care system, and 62 in the juvenile detention system. 7 out of 10 people are considered homeless in the U.S. Department of Housing, Urban Development are Black in Westchester. Yo, that's an astounding number for one of the richest counties in the nation.
We've had others that have come on. Laura Case was a homeless advocate. Remember that little girl? She came with the folders and she broke it down. Remember in the studio? Talking the same thing, dropping the same numbers. She came with numbers, facts, and figures. And, you know, and one of our listeners is saying, if I recall, they put this out because Miss Lewis rang the alarm back then. And if I recall, George used it when running to help the policy.
Exactly.
And said, shame on you, George.
Exactly. And look at this, 19% of Black children under 18 live in poverty. 20% are Hispanic also. So, you know, Westchester County has a poverty issue it's refusing to address. But yet the people that are affected by it continue to vote for people that are not doing anything about it. You know, we just can't continue as Black people to have that mentality, not in my backyard, right? If it doesn't affect you, if it doesn't affect your backyard, you don't care about it, right? The other organizations say community before party. we say party before community, which is
we don't say
detrimental.
nothing, but we act party before community.
We
don't say a damn thing, though.
Yeah, well, we act. We act party before community because some people will just say, well, as long as they're on the Democratic line, I'm going to vote for them. How foolish are you? How foolish are you?
That's why you need to pay attention during your primary. The primary is even more important because it is who is going to represent the Democratic line going into the general election.
Right.
When you have several candidates and you have to do your due diligence and find out what are those candidates that represent your interests. Other people are telling you community before party. They're putting their interests first.
But look at Case. Every time they talk about debate, she moves the goalposts. First it was, we're not going to have no debate till after the Democratic nomination. She gets the Democratic nomination. We're not going to have no debate till after all the signatures are in. You have the Democratic nomination. Time to debate. Time to debate.
And she's
going to push these debates off till like 2 weeks before the election.
And Kenneth Chamberlain wrote a powerful editorial, and he said, and I quote, "Just because you won the Democratic nomination does not guarantee you victory. Does not guarantee you victory in the primary, and we don't have to go no further than to look at our previous election for district attorney, because Tony Scarpino was endorsed by everybody for re-election, and Mimi Roca wiped the floor with him and became the new district attorney. So having the Democratic nomination does not guarantee you victory is the point of the whole thing. And you have to these debates and stuff show us what you stand for, whether you represent our values. And I said before, for everybody fighting for criminal justice reform, there is no more important election than your local district attorney election. That is going to dictate how your criminal justice will be impacted. It is the most important election for anybody who cares about criminal justice reform. Your local district attorney election is the most important election. So you need to pay attention to who the candidates are, what they say, look at their body of work, and then act accordingly. I'm pretty much done. I think Damon's coming back. Yeah, I'm pretty much ready to wrap this up. It's 8:09. I want to, unless Damon comes back with something else, I just want to thank everybody who's tuned in. Again, this is Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics radio show. This is episode 391. We are 9 episodes away from our 400th episode. We're coming up on our 10-year anniversary for the website and for the radio show, and our 7-year anniversary for the newspaper this year. And we're still standing because of all of you. We're still standing. We're still here giving you real talk for the community. We're still giving you the news with the Black point of view because of all of you. And I thank all of those who have been diehard advertisers. I thank all of y'all who have made donations to keep us going because you respect what we do. We could not still be here if it wasn't for you. So all the accolades we get, all the awards we get, it's all because of all of y'all. And I want to thank all of y'all who have been holding us down. Any last word for you, Damon? I'm pretty much done.
Man, we better get it together. We better really, really, really get it together. Please, people, like, read the articles we post. We work real hard trying to get y'all brothers and sisters the information so y'all could have, y'all can make educated decisions. Whatever you decide to do is on you, right? Because you vote for your interests. But I think we as Black people, man, what we're seeing right now in Westchester County politics, man, it's going to be so detrimental down the line, that, I tell them young brothers, the young Black Democrats that's out here, man, and believing, actually, literally, they believe in this stuff. I tell them, man, y'all, the older people are going to leave y'all absolutely nothing. They're going to leave y'all absolutely nothing because they're going to allow this to happen, and then they're going to control the party. With 2,300 votes, they can swing any vote that they want to in Westchester County on a county level and on a federal level. Let's make that clear. And the district attorney and the county exec. It's crazy. It is crazy. And nobody's saying nothing about it. Nobody's talking about it. They're just acting like business as usual. And really, it's like suppressing the Black vote. So, I just hope people understand what we're talking about and read the information. We're not picking no sides. We're not picking any sides. Well, now we're picking a side. I am. Let me correct that. I am. In the beginning, I'll be honest with you. There was some things, brother, I was giving him the rock eyebrow sometimes because I didn't know. But, when you align yourself with people like George has done that made it clear that they don't give a damn about Black and brown people or Black and brown interests, we have to step up and say, nope, that's not going to happen. And this cycle taught me a lesson. When I went on that website and saw community before party, I got it. I understand what they were doing. And we need to start learning those type of lessons. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, study the white man because he makes no excuses for his failures. But I definitely got it. So we have to start thinking community before party, Black folks. We got to start voting in blocks and thinking community before party and voting for people that they have our interests. And if they get in, and if they get in, and they want to act like they ain't our skin tone, then we vote them out. It's as simple as that. And it's crazy that I have to see, Black men tearing down a Black man who brought $1 billion to the district. We should be, you turn up your phone. I can't hear you. You're on mute.
So now they called him a liar, saying that he didn't do that. But I want to when you said something about, huh?
Who didn't do that?
That they're saying he didn't bring $1 billion to the.
The man brought.
But listen, what you said, I want to adjust that too. I really didn't take sides. Um, I posted something this week on Instagram. People will provoke you until you match their energy, and then they play victim when you go there. So I was covering the issues, and actually Damon was covering more of the whole genocide and everything, you know. But I was covering like what was going on. I kept saying it really wasn't about Bowman. It was just about the issues. But that day in February when George came to a Black History Month event and showed his ass, I then matched his energy.
Right, absolutely.
And like I said, people will provoke you until you match their energy, and then they will play victim when you go there. So I decided to go there. And now we see exactly he's doing exactly that, playing the victim, telling people, oh no, they're operatives for Bowman. This had nothing to do with Bowman. This was me addressing you for what you had to say to me, because you didn't have the heart to address Damon, whose cell number you have in your phone, about what Damon wrote about you. And you decided that it was a good idea to stand over me at a table where I was selling my books, to talk down to me a certain way. And I've now matched your energy, and now you're playing victim. So I want to be clear on that, because I wasn't picking a side. I quit. My issue that I kept banging home was the Republicans being told to change their party affiliation, and the attempted Republican takeover of the Democratic primary. I was very clear. That was the point that I was making over and over and over, to educate Democrats on what was being done. What you had a problem with is what Damon wrote, but you wouldn't tell Damon. And when I told you, you saw his name at the bottom, you said, oh, I'm going to tell Damon, you put it all on him. No, you're not. And no, you have it, because you have his number in your phone, and you have never picked it up to call him or text him about anything he wrote. But you thought it was a good idea to stand over me at a venue where I was a vendor and talk down to me and come at me a certain way. So, yeah, I wrote that article that set things off in motion. That you thought nobody was going to pay us attention, that the Washington Post did a follow-up, that the Huffington Post did a follow-up, that the Intercept did a follow-up, that the New York Post did a follow-up, that the Gothamist and WNYC did a follow-up, that the Final Call is doing a follow-up. You thought nobody was going to pay attention to us. So I matched your energy. And now you're playing victim. That's how we got here. I just don't want you to rewrite history.
So I'm gonna ask a question also. So now that Netanyahu is, it says here, I just comes up on your phone
that he's coming, that he's going to attend.
He vows to defy allies on the Rafah invasion. He refused deals with, because George, you wrote about bringing the hostage homes, but the deal that the Americans made, he didn't want to make the deal.
Letting the humanitarian aid go through and
right.
stop blocking that
stuff.
and
a
ceasefire.
Exactly. So where is the condemnation?
And they wasn't even talking about a permanent ceasefire. They were talking about like a 6-week ceasefire to get the hostages home and to get aid over there. They were talking about a temporary ceasefire, and you wasn't even trying to feel that.
Right. Well, so when do
I
you
think there need to be a permanent ceasefire. But
when is he going to condemn Netanyahu? Because if you're going to condemn Muslims for doing a protest vote for Biden and saying it was undemocratic, when are you going to condemn Netanyahu? Are you going to follow the lead of Chuck Schumer?
Absolutely.
Are you going to follow the lead of Chuck Schumer? Or are you going to stay silent on that? Like this.
That's another article we wrote this week.
Let me bring it up.
Schumer calls for a new election in Israel and says Netanyahu is an obstacle for peace. And let me just tell you, Chuck Schumer, the first Jewish majority leader in the Senate, the highest ranking Jewish official in the United States government, is saying he got to go. So you had some Jewish people that influenced you to get into this race. You got the highest. So this is, again, this is not a Black Westchester conversation. This is not me and Damon saying this. This is the first Jewish majority leader in the Senate, the highest ranking Jewish official who says he has backed Israel throughout his 25 years in the Senate, but is not feeling what's going on now. And leaders in Washington have avoided directly criticizing him. Netanyahu, I pronounced his name wrong. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Approach to the conflict in Gaza is a sharp escalation.
No, Netanyahu did a response.
Yeah, but I wanted to say though that's something else that we covered with the highest ranking Jewish leader said.
No, but I want to while we're still here.
Yeah, you got to bring it up.
We might as well play. Hold on.
While he's pulling that up, Schumer's words, I think there's a video of him and his words in our story. So you don't just read it, you can hear Schumer say this for himself. And the entire statement that he made is on video. So we try to not just give you the words, we try to give you the video so you can see the man say it himself. And the point is, when he would get ready to play, I want to hear what the county executive has to say about that. And all those who have called, who are against a ceasefire and who are one-sided on this, I want to hear what they have to say.
Here with me now is Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Hold up, I'm gonna bring it up. Let's. Oh, it's there. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me. Let's start with that potential deal, sir. 100 hostages are still being held by Hamas. You're sending that negotiating team to Qatar in the coming days to talk about a potential deal. Free hostages in exchange for a 6-week pause in fighting. As you know, Hamas is demanding the release of hundreds of Palestinian prisoners in exchange for roughly 40 female hostages. Are you open to that? Are you close to a deal?
Well, time will tell, but Hamas's outlandish demands, and I'm not itemizing every one of them now, makes that deal a lot more difficult, but we're going to keep on trying because we want those hostages back. We understand also that the one thing that gets Hamas to give them is to give these hostages to us is the continued military pressure that we're applying there. So we're going to continue military pressure and we're going to continue to try to get those hostages out. And we've succeeded already in bringing half of them out. I hope we continue along that same course.
Let's talk about what happened here in the U.S. this week. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer gave a pivotal speech and said, you have lost your way, and called you an obstacle to peace. Take a listen.
The Netanyahu coalition no longer fits the needs of Israel after October 7th. And I believe that holding a new election, once the war starts to wind down, would give Israelis an opportunity to express their vision for the post-war future.
Chuck Schumer is the highest ranking Jewish elected official here in America, a staunch supporter of Israel. What's your response?
I think what he said is totally inappropriate. It's inappropriate for to go to a sister democracy and try to replace the elected leadership there. That's something that Israeli public does on its own. We're not a banana republic. I think the only government that we should be working on to bring down now is the terrorist tyranny in Gaza, Hamas tyranny that murdered over 1,000 Israelis, including some dozens of Americans, and is holding Americans and Israelis hostage. That's what we should be focused on. And as far as what Senator Schumer said, the majority of Israelis support our governments. 82% of Americans support Israel instead of Hamas, but the majority of Israelis support the policies that we're leading. Go into Rafah, destroy the remaining Hamas terrorist battalions, make sure that we don't put into Gaza, instead of Hamas, the Palestinian Authority that educates their children towards terrorism and the annihilation of Israel, and also an enormous majority here, including 99 Knesset members to 9, oppose the idea of ramming down a Palestinian state down our throats.
I want to get to
the
some of
majority
the
of
polls
Israelis, this is
in
a
a
wake-up
minute.
call to Senator Schumer. The majority of Israelis support the policies of my government. It's not a fringe government. It represents the policies supported by the majority of the people. If Senator Schumer opposes these policies, he's not opposing me. He's opposing the people of Israel.
Okay, I'm going to get to some of the polls that you cited in one moment, but I just want to make sure that our viewers understand that Chuck Schumer gave the big speech, but he has support in many ways from the President of the United States. President Biden is a self-described Zionist. Even he is starting to distance himself from the way you are handling the war. He called what Schumer said a good speech. He said that he shared the concern of many Americans. They aren't criticizing Israel. They're criticizing you and your right-wing coalition.
Dana, there's a fallacy that is being perpetrated here. You should take polls, you have your own polls, and check whether the people of Israel support the policies that I'm being criticized for. That is, supporting the policies of going into Rafah, destroying a quarter of the remaining Hamas terrorist army. That's like leaving a quarter of the Hamas, of the Nazi terrorist army in Germany, and saying, no, we're not going to finish the last quarter, and we're not going into Berlin. Most Israelis overwhelmingly support the position that we have to go in. They oppose the idea of ramming down a two-state solution or a terrorist state against their will, because they think that this will endanger Israel's future. They support those policies that I'm putting forward, and to present that as something that is an outlier, it doesn't represent the majority of the people of Israel, is simply a fallacy. And I'll tell you the other fallacy. They're saying, well, most Palestinians don't support the Hamas massacre. In fact, 85% of the Palestinians do support, unfortunately, the Hamas massacre. So
That's crazy.
and you can readily check that. The majority of
What?
Israelis support the policies that I have on prosecuting the war, which is what I'm being criticized.
Well,
So it's not just me.
I
It's
think
the people of Israel who believe that we have to have this resolute
I think
victory
that you're-
to assure a
I
future.
think
And
that what you're being
unfortunately,
criticized
we have the
for is
Palestinians that
not
haven't aligned
prosecuting
themselves.
the war. It's the way that you're prosecuting the war. So I'm going to get to that in 1 minute, but I just want to add a little bit of sort of context to the way that the Biden administration is pushing back. Another way is that the U.S. intelligence community warned that, quote, distrust of Netanyahu's ability to rule has deepened and broadened across the public. And then back to the polls, you're talking about support for the idea of toppling Hamas. That makes perfect sense. There were other polls in Israel, 3 major Israeli television stations, that said what Israelis also support are early elections. That's what I really want to focus on here is Senator Schumer not calling to sort of topple the government, but specifically says, when the war winds down, will you commit to calling new elections? That's my question. Will you?
What you said today, the vast majority of Israelis oppose elections until the war doesn't end.
Yo, he's not trying to go nowhere, and the fact that that was a total lie that all Palestinians support what Hamas do. That's not true. Like we know it's not true, because anybody that came out, is not a support of terrorism. See what he just said? That all Palestinians, that's the same.
He said 85%, but yes. Yeah.
But that's the same talking points of
AIPAC.
George Lattimore when I asked him, are all Muslims part of Hamas? And it took him 10 days to respond to that. to one question, just yes or no. Do you believe that all Muslims are part of Hamas?
And he actually didn't respond to you. He responded to all the media outlets who followed us, who then called him. That's what he responded to.
No. He responded it in a response to Bowman.
Okay.
Right. But that was for me. But it was too late after that because, you know, he was denounced by two Muslim mosque organizations that are in New York. You know, and this is what we're talking about.
And there's also Jewish people here who don't stand with that, who came out to a protest.
I think the deeper understanding is that the Democratic Party is being polarized, and they're doing it on purpose. We humanity thinking people, or people just really understand, you know, I mean, where's the true Democrats at? Because, you know, to have all these Republicans transfer over and be clear the fact that they're transferring over to take out a Democrat, I would, you know, like, that's like the Crips jumping over to the Bloods, you know, to take out a Blood. That's the easiest way I can say it. Is the Bloods want to take out one of their own, and they bring over 2,300 Crips to be in the Bloods to take out a Blood. That's how insane that sounds. That's how insane that sounds. But that's what they're doing right here in the Westchester County Democratic Party. Y'all better wake up. Y'all better really wake up.
Like that scene from School Days at the end. Wake up.
Yeah. No, y'all better wake up, man. Because it's really crazy. Westchester Democrats better pay fucking attention to what's going down.
Yo, as we come to the close of the show, I want, if you saw something in here that you felt was important, that needs to get out, share this with your people. Continue this conversation with your people. If you're watching this on YouTube, do me a favor right now, subscribe and like the video and share the video with others. You know what I'm saying? And share the links. You read something on Black Westchester, you see a clip on social media, share it with your people and start a conversation. This needs to be talked about everywhere. We're provoking these conversations. You know, we're starting them. This show is the start of a conversation, not the finish of a conversation. Now it's up to y'all to continue this conversation and to act on it. You know, y'all like, y'all quick to talk about Obama and quote Obama. He said, "Be the change you want to see." Yo, I just saw something, and this is people might not feel me on the example, but so this brother asked this woman, what does she want in a man? And asked her to write everything down. You know, security, this, that, and the other, to be able to do this and all that, health, wealth, all this other stuff. And he said, write everything down, write it all down. He said, now look over this list. Are you willing to give all of that to get that? She goes all quiet. What are you willing to do for the changes that you want to see? The things that you complain about. What are you willing to do about it? What are you willing to do? Are you just going to sit there and complain? What are you willing to do about it? And I'm going to leave it there. That's all I have to say.
So,
she said the two Democrats turned independent. I'm one of them. So yeah, I agree.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Panama. You're welcome. And if anyone wants to buy Jesus is a Black Palestinian hat, I'm putting the link right in there. the links in there, and the link will be in the description of the video also, along with the Hawass ice, the smell good of the day. Sisters, if you want your significant other or your brother, your uncle, or whoever, your son, to smell good this summertime, telling you, get this Hawass ice. It's very good. See, I put a nice dent in it. You know, and that's it.
And don't forget to buy all three of my books on Amazon, and all David's books are on Amazon. Buy the books.
Yeah. I'm gonna make an ending video in that too. All right. Peace out, everybody.
Until next time, peace.
Have a blacktastic day and enjoy. Peace.
22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. Today, and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. And are not